Holy shit, what a fucking adventure this has been. So it just took me like 20 minutes to get the fucking live stream feed up. Now I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Alright, no unnecessary preamble, no intro music, right down to business. A fresh episode of the Savage Sack Tap starts right meow.
You're listening to the Savage Sack Tap. It's not a podcast, it's not a half-cast, it's just a quick shot to the balls to help you finish off the week. We're cutting through the bullshit, filling your Friday with rage-fueled logic, and cracking a few jokes along the way. So grab a bag of frozen peas. There's a Savage Sack Tap coming your way.
Smooth, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
Yeah. How are we doing? Mike Montone, Savage Sack Tap, live from the western slope of the Jersey City Heights. So here's what's going on. I'm just wrapping up tomorrow will be the second week of my new job. Very, very exciting stuff. We're having a good time. Not ready to talk too much about it on here, because I just don't know what the fucking, the whole deal with that is yet. I had to check that thing. I got some articles for later. But I will tell you, it is a very fun job. It's a very hard, like, it's not hard as in, oh, this is fucking hard, but hard as in, we work hard. A lot of stuff, early fucking mornings, but it's entirely worth it. It has been a blast thus far. I'm having a lot of fun. Get to work with comics and porn stars, and we get celebrities and stuff. So it's been super cool so far. And eventually down the line, I'll start sharing pictures and stuff and everything. But I feel like when you're the new guy, you shouldn't be doing shit like that. Is kind of like my whole thing. Like, that's not. I feel like you have to earn the right to go out and, like, fucking talk about what you do. But I am, for those who wonder, I am having a fucking blast at work for the first time since I carried an M4. Like, literally. Holy shit. It's been quite a while. But yeah, I took a pay cut to do it, and I never thought that I'd be happy about doing that. But I am fucking elated. And I've been behaving myself this summer, which will probably come as a surprise to you fine people. It's the first summer I've had where I'm single in a long time, but I'm not going out getting drunk trying to smash skanks, which is, it's like, the people are like, well, does he have a brain tumor? Is it all okay? Does his cock and his liver still work? Yes, they still work. They're fantastic. I decided to give my liver a break. I'm not drinking as much. I haven't quit drinking. I still do drink, but just not as much. I've been smoking more, drinking coffee. Nootropics are pretty cool. They give you like a nice, happy, high kick, and they're not awful for you the way alcohol is. And I think, while we're here, can we talk about how alcohol tastes like shit? Like, we have to go out of our way to talk about, oh yeah, I love bourbon. Like, yeah, I like bourbon because of the way it makes me feel, right? It makes you get that, like, loose, numb feeling. But does it actually taste good? Like, there's a reason. You know who knows what tastes good? Little kids are great at what tastes good. If you gave a little kid bourbon, they'd be like, oh, this is fucking disgusting. But yeah, I do enjoy drinking whiskey from time to time because it gives you that cool, mellow buzz. But I feel like it's just so disingenuous when people walk around talking about how different kinds of expensive alcohol taste good. They don't. That's why they're called acquired taste. If something is an acquired taste, it tastes like shit. People have said I'm an acquired taste, so apparently I should do a better job wiping my ass. But what's going on? Yeah, it's weird. I'm not. The nice thing about the less drinking is the less hangovers, and for an anxiety and mild depression-prone person like myself, that is a very good thing, because as much as I love going out and fucking raging, which again, a lot of fun to do that, the next day and like the day or two after that were just no longer worth it, or at least not right now worth it. Like, you wake up, your fucking body's on fire, your head feels like shit, you're dehydrated, you don't know what the fuck you did the night before, what kind of trouble you're in. We've had a few of those amongst my friends and I that have actually resulted in, summonses and etc. So, you get to the point where like, maybe this is maybe not the best idea. That said, it's not completely out of my system. I feel like once every few months, you really do need to go out and just fucking crank it. And luckily, well, I crank it every day, actually, from this seat that you're seeing me in a couple times a day. Different kind of cranking it. But yeah, once, I think, like, just for, like, the soul, at least once every 2-3 months, you do need to have, like, a night out where you just paint the fucking town red and tie one on and have a blast with your friends, because otherwise you may as well be dead. But I'm no longer at the point where I need to do it every weekend, like where I feel bad about missing it. Now I'm just like, oh, I can save a lot of money, spend that money on weed, which is just so much better, fire up the fattest ass J and chill the fuck out and laugh at things, which is in a lot of ways better than being like in a crowded bar with a bunch of jerk-offs. Because especially like, and I love the Shore, like I have my spots, love my DJs, love Bar A, Jenks, all those fucking places. Love going out and acting a fool. But you have to understand, there are a lot of douchebags out there, and it's it's a pain in the ass to give part of your evening to douchebags, I think. And when you're out interacting amongst them, even if you're not dealing with them directly, you're still giving part of your evening to douchebags. So I have noticed that I'm in a generally better mood, living this sort of douchebag-free existence, or relatively douchebag-free existence, because I will say, my new building that I work in is in... You see? Raging Quarterly. Thank you, Jacqueline. We are on the same page. It's fantastic. Yeah, I give myself a nice 3 months to recover. It's perfect. No hangover can last 3 months. My new building that I work in is it's in Midtown. It's actually, like, right near the site of where that helicopter crash was. Speaking of douchebags, a fucking sea of douchebags in that neighborhood. I went from working down in the West Village, which is very quiet, and you can kind of leisurely stroll down the street. Holy shit, Midtown. This, they call it it's called like the Midtown Vest, or like this finance vest. I didn't realize how real of a thing this was until I started working in Midtown, and it's like every 25-year-old jerk-off on the planet. They all dress the same, which, as I understand, is a necessity if you work in finance. They want some semblance of uniformity, which I get that. I just don't understand walking around in a fucking vest. Who decided that the zip-up vest over a button-down shirt was the way to go? That's a terrible idea. This is why I work in an industry where I can show up in like a t-shirt and sweatpants and just make a bunch of dick jokes and draw a meager paycheck. Someone is getting yelled at outside. This is what happens when you live in an urban neighborhood and podcast with the windows open. But yeah, speaking of Midtown, the helicopter crash. I don't know if you guys. I'm assuming most people have seen this. This poor guy flew his helicopter into a building in Midtown Manhattan. And having worked in the news industry for 8 years before this, those fucking things are death traps. The small planes, like the little single-engine Cessnas and the helicopters, you have to be so fucking tuned in to everything, because you usually, those guys like do their own maintenance and stuff, and they prep it, and just like anything else in life, like you can start to let shit slip. Like, you're like, yeah, I checked the thing the other day, yeah, the gauge is fine, yeah, we got fuel, whatever, because you get lazy with things. You get cocky, you get lazy, and then the next thing you know, you're flying over Manhattan on a cloudy day, and fuck. But we have these crashes happen all the time, and from time to time, they take place in the middle of the city. We had one in the East River last spring. It was a tourist helicopter. It went down, and they couldn't get out of their seatbelts, and all of these people drowned. And then what was it, the Yankees pitcher a while back? I think it was like right after September 11. Was it Corey Liddell? He crashed a small plane into a. But we've had a shitload of them. Sometimes they get lucky and it'll happen over like Long Island or something like that, and they'll be able to land it on like a beach, or there was one where they landed on a highway, but a helicopter over Midtown, and you're fucked. And they say it's because it was super foggy. Like, we're up on the 36th floor, and looking out the window that day, it was just like literally staring into a fucking cloud. So I have no clue what this guy was looking into, but it was probably along those lines. If that happens, it's not like driving a car where you know you're planted firmly on the ground. So you're like, all right, this way is forward, left, right. If you're in that, it's just like being in a big ball of fog. Like, you have no idea what direction is what's up, what's down, what's left, what's right. You have to navigate using your instruments. Like, you can't do it visually out the helicopter. And what happens is, if you're an inexperienced pilot, you're gonna panic. You're up there by yourself, and the next thing you know, this happened to me the other day. I was at my parents' apartment, and I wasn't paying attention where I was fucking walking. I was looking in one direction, and I turned. I was literally looking to see if there was a convenience store in the area where I could, like, in the immediate vicinity, where I could buy rolling papers. And I was staring across the street, and fucking, I turned, and as I turned, I stepped into a fucking cement pillar. So yeah, this shit can happen. I was totally lucid on solid ground on a beautiful spring afternoon, and this guy, and I smacked into a fucking cement pole. This guy's up in the air above Manhattan in a tiny fucking helicopter and can't see a thing. You don't have a shot. That's it. It sucks. It really, really just sucks. What a poor guy. I think he had like a family and kids too. That's just nasty. New York City is like that, though. That is, things like it's like you wake up in the morning and you go into Manhattan, you're like, what the fuck's gonna happen today? Remember a couple years ago, the Hoboken train station, some 27-year-old girl, she's just standing on the platform, and an NJ Transit train just literally just kept going and didn't stop and jumped the track. And she was killed, and a bunch of people were injured, and they had to do a blood drive, and it shut. The station still hasn't recovered. They're still doing construction and trying to fix it up. We've had fucking terror attacks. Jesus Christ! We had that asshole on the West Side Highway bike path. We had that dude who blew up the bomb in his pants. He was trying to do a suicide bombing right before Christmas, like. Not this past year, the year before, and I think he just wound up blowing up his own dick. We had that asshole who was putting the bombs in the dumpsters. Obviously, we had the big one back in 2001. We had a cab a couple years ago jumped a curb near Bryant Park, and it almost severed an English tourist's leg, and fucking Dr. Oz was walking down the street and got there and like applied a makeshift tourniquet. I'm not even fucking around with this. Like, you guys can look it up. Like, don't click away from this. There's like fucking 3 of you watching. I can't lose a third or 2/3 of my audience here. But I shit you not. Look it up. On your own time. Fucking Dr. Oz helped save he came to the aid of a British tourist who had been pretty much cut in half by a fucking taxi when it jumped the curb a few summers ago near Bryant Park. It's a fucking zoo in New York City. It is the most preposterous place in the world. Like I said before, my current commute has me getting into the city around 4 a.m. and I get out of the Port Authority bus terminal and walk out into Times Square, and it is ridiculous. It's literally, if you are seizure prone, you probably shouldn't be in an empty Times Square, because there are just intense flashing lights at all hours of the night, and there's nobody there. So the light is just reflecting off of. There's like a couple dozen people. There'll be a few construction workers, some cops, two or three, homeless guys doing crack or whatever it is they do to stay up all night, and then like the odd drunk tourist that's stumbling back from a club like down in Chelsea or something like that. But it's, other than that, like completely desolate. You're just walking down the street past the piles of garbage and the intense flashing lights. It is a wild scene. But speaking of New York City, and I mentioned 9/11 before, and all this horrible shit. This is a happy episode, isn't it? We're having fun. The Mets had fun the other night. Put a fucking hurting on the Yankees. Fuck those guys. Well, actually, they split a day-night doubleheader, and the Mets got their ass kicked in the first half. Neither here nor there. Speaking of 9/11, Jon Stewart is the fucking boss. Don't agree. I do not in any way agree with all of his politics. He's a little off to the left for my taste, but he is a funny motherfucker, and a better advocate for the 9/11 first responders I cannot imagine. I mean, that guy, at every turn, every time that they're talking about defunding the Zadroiga Act, which is if you're not local to the, well, now it's all over the fucking news, but it was a super big like local news story for us for a while. The Zadroiga Act is essentially a fund that pays for health coverage for anyone who worked on or near the rubble pile down at Ground Zero, and there was all sorts of, the World Trade Center was built in the 70s. There's like a lot of old chemicals and stuff and gases, and people were breathing that in for months at a time in close proximity. It was burning and it was hot, so a lot of people are coming down with really bad like throat and blood cancers as a result. And like young fit guys, like these are firefighters and cops and shit, guys who like the picture of physical fitness, and there was a fund for them to pay for their medical expenses and everything, and the fund was going to run out, and it looked like Congress wasn't going to pass the legislation that was needed to continue funding that. I guess it's so they do it through what's called the Zadroiga Act, and I guess every few years they have to re-up it, and Jon Stewart has just been a champion of this thing, going down and fighting for people and advocating for them. And he doesn't have to do it. Like, Jon Stewart literally doesn't have to do anything. He could spend the rest of his life living off Daily Show money, hanging out on a fucking beach or on the farm he has, doing absolutely nothing except for congratulating himself on an amazing career. Instead, he uses his time. People are always saying this too, because there are a lot of asshole celebrities who just kind of, they run their mouths and they act very altruistic, and they're telling you how to live and what to do, and then they're the ones who they want open borders, but they live in a gated community. They want to get rid of guns, but they have armed security. They exercise a great deal of hypocrisy. They want name your thing, and you can probably find a celebrity who's been a huge hypocrite on it from either side, left or right. They're all fucking assholes, except for Jon Stewart. What a great guy! He literally is taking. No one asked him to do. He's taking time to advocate for these people, and he goes down to Congress the other day, and I guess there was a subcommittee meeting on the Zadroiga Act, and like. Nobody shows up, and he's got the 9/11 first responders with him. People who ran into burning buildings, people who spent days fucking lifting rubble off of the pile, trying to find maybe survivors, but more likely looking for corpses. And you see the pictures, and some of them are like, they're just withered, and they look like they're on death's door, but they went down there to advocate for and he's with them, and of course, it was playing to an empty fucking Congress, so these fucking jerk-offs, but it's been effective so far. The House actually did pass, I guess, funding for it. So I don't know. I guess I don't know if it's been to the Senate or what now. It's been a while since social studies class. So ooh. But yeah, what that guy fucking rules. And I just wanted to take a second to point that I wasn't even going to include that in this live stream, but when I was on Facebook before, it popped up and reminded me. I was like, yeah, I got to say something about Jon Stewart. He's a funny man, and he does good things for people who deserve it. So Jon Stewart gets himself a little mention in the Savage Sack Tap, and I think that's really all Jon Stewart would have ever wanted. He would want to know that just some guy in New Jersey who talks into his phone in his basement studio is a fan. That's what would do it, right? He'd be fucking thrilled, I'm sure. Anyway, because of the new gig, I am on a sort of limited show prep schedule, as you can probably see, because I don't have the note cards. I literally scribbled fucking notes on my notebook like 10 minutes before doing this. But that's because I have to do my show prep now for the people I work for. So it's a good thing that I'm providing you with dog shit content here. It means my actual career is doing well. But with that in mind, I will get back to doing the more elaborate episodes. I just got to figure out, the sleep schedule and the prep schedule and all that shit. And I'm also getting trained on a bunch of new software and shit, and I have to, do a bunch of fucking writing and stuff for them. So my brain's pretty much in a million different directions at once right now. So we'll get there. Relax. With that in mind, I will be riffing on a couple news stories here. I have... what do I got? We got David Ortiz. We got motherfuckers dropping dead like crazy down in the Dominican Republic. What the fuck is that about? Analingus. Add that to the list of things that can cause throat cancer. And the women's soccer team they're getting yelled at for running up the score. I don't like that. I don't like when you yell at people for running up the score. I love to run up the score. But first, social media. Facebook.com/The Savage Crew. That be the page where I do this shit at, and please give it a like. And I always say this because I have this conversation with people all the time. People tell me, Michael, we love the stream, probably the best live stream. A number of people saying, and tremendous, fantastic job. He's streaming from a very, very sad basement apartment, but still a great live stream show. Fantastic. Look, if it's too depraved and fucked up for you to share on your wall or click the like button, any of that, I totally get it. Super blue content. A lot of use of words like cock and fun and fuck and pussy and douchebag, and a lot of people don't, you don't want to admit in polite society that you would be party to such a show. I totally get that. But if you have friends who, they're into the same kind of shenanigans, the same sort of lowbrow, crass entertainment that we provide here, shoot them a little message, give them, a little DM, slide into those DMs. That's what it's good for. Maybe you use it to meet a nice gal on the social media. But yeah, Facebook.com/The Savage Crew. You can check that out. Twitter @Mike Montone, and Instagram @Gary_Moiler, Moyler. And people always ask me where the name Gary Moiler comes from, and it was my prank phone call name in middle school and high school. We introduced ourselves as Gary Moiler when we would harass the names listed in the yellow book and the school phone book. So that's where that came from. In any case, let me grab my my tablet here. Not an iPad. It is a Amazon Fire. This David Ortiz story is fucking wild. They're looking for. It says the headline from ABC: Manhunt intensifies for the surgeon. He is the suspect at large in the shooting of Red Sox icon David Ortiz. I guess 7 guys involved in the hit on Big Papi. And if you don't know what happened, he was drinking down in the Dominican, and someone came up and just blasted him a bunch of times, and he lived. I guess he's been in surgery up in Boston. They're looking for this guy who I guess he's also wanted for an attempted homicide in Pennsylvania, and I kind of have a problem with this. First, I mean, I'm glad Big Papi lived. We don't want David Ortiz to we want to see a slugger die at a bar in the fucking Dominican. So he's but this guy also wanted for attempted murder in Pennsylvania. How are you walking around fucking calling yourself the surgeon if you're shooting these people and they're surviving? You can't call yourself the surgeon. What would you call them? Blind? Fucking the terrible shot? Just not you're the least surgical gunman ever if you're going around and point blank range. I get it. And how do you? It's David Ortiz. The guy's fucking massive. If anyone should be able to hit David Ortiz and kill him when shooting him, it's a guy that calls himself the surgeon. You can't be the surgeon if you're going up to assassinate a guy who's huge and you shoot him and you don't even hit him in a fatal wound location. You're a terrible assassin. And I'm glad, because we don't want Big Papi to die. One of the dudes, they're saying, I guess. And by the way, before I get to that, an $8,000 bounty. Who the fuck were you working for? Who out there is paying for a fucking hit squad on a Major League Baseball player with only $8,000? And I realize that it's the Dominican. $8,000 probably goes a long way down there, but that's $8,000 for a hit on a Major League Baseball player. Yeah, that's what gets you the surgeon who can't hit the fucking wide side of a barn. Just what an embarrassment to the entire hitman collective. Do you think that hitmen are out there getting together for a drink at a bar and they're seeing this on TV and they're like, this guy's fucking calling himself the surgeon? And he's really giving the entire profession a bad name. Jesus, 7 fucking guys and they couldn't get him. This guy's supposed to be one of them's supposed to be 25. The other one is 31. The pictures I'm looking at. Let me tell you something. This is a rough 31. This guy looks like he's 31 going on 47. Jesus. Got another. The other guy is he's 25 years old, I guess. I like it. He's got such a fuckboy haircut. He's got the shaved sides and like the fucking pompadour on the top. It's so weird that poor Dominican low-level criminals and wealthy douchebags from the United States affect the exact same fashion style. That's funny. And the one guy is kind of local too. He got I guess he's wanted in a couple of armed robberies right here in Clifton, New Jersey. I'm assuming he just hopped on the plane and fled. But how about the Dominicans not getting a lot of good press lately? Actually, I think our next story is also about the Dominicans. And last year, the story of the summer. Actually, they're on trial now. The fucking Trinitarios. They hacked up that poor kid in the Bronx. Behave yourselves. Come on, guys. Let's play nice. No reason to go around killing people. But yeah, it looks like Papi's gonna be okay. The rumors that have been floating around, and I guess they're still looking for a hard motive, but they're saying a higher level drug dealer believed that David Ortiz had been having an affair with his wife or his girlfriend or something like that. And then I guess the follow-up rumor to that is that they weren't even having an affair. I guess she posed for a picture with him, and Instagram and social media, or however it gets back to this guy, that she was photographed with him, and then he thinks something fishy is up, because, and I mean, I get that. Look, if you're a drug dealer, you're kind of naturally suspicious person, right? You're constantly trying to evade law enforcement. Everything sort of gets the hairs on your neck to stand up, and maybe you dabble in a bit of your own supply, and nothing will make you get more paranoid more quickly than cocaine. So if you're a guy who's doing a lot of coke and is constantly suspicious and paranoid about things, and you have a beautiful girlfriend and you think she's having an affair with a professional athlete, and that starts spinning around in your head, you can see how one in that position might be prone to ordering a hit on said athlete. But look, man, again, if you're gonna pay to have somebody whacked, do it the right way. You know, $8 grand to take out Big Papi. I mean, you're fucking. If I was him, that's the thing I would be the angriest about. If I found out, if I was David Ortiz and I woke up in a hospital room in Boston in a couple of days, and I was like, how the fuck did I get here? And they're like, this drug dealer was mad at you because he thought you were fucking his girlfriend, so he paid some guy $8,000 to kill you. My first question would be, what a fucking asshole. You know, I hit big home runs in the fucking postseason, and he's been $8 grand? That's like 3 innings worth of work. Absolutely ridiculous. Moving on. More fun in the Dominican. I do not watch Shark Tank regularly, but Barbara Corcoran is one of the, the women on the panel. Her brother found dead in a hotel room down there. And I guess, he's from New Jersey. Well, was from New Jersey. Jesus. They're saying they believe it was natural causes, but this is like, it's like every couple days now I'm seeing a new article about someone dying at a hotel in the Dominican, and a bunch of them have had the exact same story attached to it. It's been, they took a little sip out of something from the minibar, and then the next thing you know, they're dead. They lay down and they just don't wake up again. Like, you hear it and you're like, you hear the first one, you're like, oh, that sucks. Must have been botulism, bad can of Campbell's soup, something like that. And then it's like, well, and then another, and then it happens to a couple. They're down there for their anniversary, and then another, and you're like, what the fuck is this? I mean, it's almost like a really hacky writer was putting together the script for like a bad movie, like something that like M. Night Shyamalan would ruin with one of his stupid surprise endings. Like, ooh, there's a resort in the Dominican, and American tourists are dropping mysteriously dead, and then you find out that the entire thing was like a simulation at Epcot Center, some fuckery. I don't know. No, that would be a very dark turn for Disney World. But yeah, they're baffling is what they're calling the deaths, but they're saying the causes, the actual cause of death in a lot of these cases are being heart attacks and pulmonary edema, which causes the lungs to fill up with fluid. But they're saying none of these people had any problem before they went down there. So you worry about this shit because you hear the stories every once in a while about like, oh, someone stayed in whatever hotel in St. Louis and they got meningitis through the vents, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, you're doing everything right, eating healthy, you save your money, you want to go on a nice vacay to St. Louis or the Dominican Republic, and the next thing you know, some stupid, like, spore floating in the air in the hotel fucking kills you. Yeah, you don't even have a chance. No chance to run, you take some airborne or, a Z-Pack or whatever. Terrible. But this is from the Fox News article. Some of the tourists consumed a beverage from the room minibar before becoming suddenly ill. Scores of people who traveled to the Dominican Republic in recent years have reached out to Fox News with accounts of having fallen ill after having a beverage from their room minibar or buying one elsewhere in their resort. Others have described having gotten severely sick after smelling what seemed to be strong chemicals that they thought might have been insecticide or pesticides. So now you gotta wonder, Like, is it something like faulty? Like, is there a vent next to the maintenance shed and the guy just, well, that's, they stored the fertilizer there and it's pumping in through the thing and it's mixing in the humid air and it's, who the fuck knows? Or is it something like nefarious? Like, is there like an angry housekeeper going around and doing this? But it's just, it's terrifying that, you got this couple from Pennsylvania found dead. Another woman, dies in an adjacent hotel room. After a minibar drink. Family says she's healthy but died of a heart attack. And now people are, they're canceling their trips. You don't want to go. What are you going to go to the Dominican? They're shooting baseball players and the minibar is killing people. I mean, it'll kill your bank account. That was a joke about how the minibar, if you drink like a thing of vodka this big, it's like $15. It's bullshit. Just go to the store and get your own. No, seriously, that's what am I the only one who does that? Like, just fucking go and get a handle of Tito's and some juice and you're fucking good. It'll cost you like $25 and that's like the cost of a drink and a half out of the stupid fucking minibar. Yeah, charge me. It's $9 for a fucking bite-sized Toblerone. Get the fuck out of here. But yeah, this is, wild shit, man. What did I have? What was up next here? I accidentally X'd out of it. I had an article about analingus and throat cancer. Give me a sec. I have to pull it back up. I told you, motherfuckers, I am so unprepared this week and last week because of just the new hours and everything. But I still wanted to do this. I made a mini promise to myself to try to do at least one show a week through the entire year, and I've been chugging along pretty good, and I don't want to fuck it up. So what as a result, you're getting me rambling about incoherently about things that I do not actually know anything about. Anal cancer. Alright, CNN, Men's Health has it. They'll give me the story geared towards me, because it's Men's Health. Marsha Cross links her anal cancer to husband's throat cancer. Yikes. And if you are on Team Ass Eater, as I am, this is disheartening news. And you can get it from just regular old-fashioned genital oral sex. So no one is safe. We call that the Michael Douglas effect. But yeah, Marsha Cross says she got it, and her husband has, it could be linked to her husband's throat cancer. So the way this works is, because I was having a discussion about this, I was at a family gathering. If you're wondering what my family talks about when we get together, we talk about analingus and throat cancer. But I had to explain to my father that you're not passing cancer to someone. It's that you're passing HPV. They say it's something like 85% of sexually active adults have or will at some time have some form of HPV, and most strains of HPV just kind of run their course and go away, but some can lead to cancers. In the past, people kind of thought of it as only causing cervical cancer. Sometimes it shows up as like a genital wart or something like that. And then, I don't know if you remember when Michael Douglas got throat cancer a few years ago, he came out in the press and was like, "Yeah, I got this from eating pussy," and everyone was like, "No, you didn't." Yeah, sweet humble brag, bro. Oh, you get to eat a lot of box. Good for you. We should all be so lucky. Yeah, no, it turns out that because you can pass the HPV through, obviously in the mouth and in the genitals and in the anus, there are a lot of thinner the mucous membrane, so it's a lot easier to pass stuff. You can pass HPV easier there, and if it's the wrong, the bad kind, then you're at risk for cancer. But they have the vaccine now, so that's good. I think it's for younger people. I don't know how old you can get that, so I should probably look into that. Yeah, so she says on CBS this morning, She explained how her gynecologist had discovered the anal cancer during a routine visit. Does the gynecologist know she was looking at the wrong hole? Someone should probably look into that gynecologist's license. But she says she's in remission now, which that's good. Remission's good, right? But isn't interested in being quiet about it. She said, I know that there are people who are ashamed. You have cancer. Should you then feel ashamed like you did something bad because it took up residence in your anus? Absolutely not. People should be out there eating ass. People should be going down on each other. It's all people. It's fun to have sex, do things. Don't be a boring fuck and just be like, we're gonna do missionary under the covers with the lights off because we don't want to get anal cancer from our tongues. Nah, get out there, toss that fucking salad. You'll love it. A big proponent. It's ass eating season, baby. So she said her husband, I guess, had been diagnosed with throat cancer in 2009 and is also in remission. So that's good. They're both good that they're both doing okay. And they have a CBS or Men's Health has a much more scientific explanation than the one that I gave you. Here's how they explain. HPV is one of the top risk factors for anal cancer, and as it is for throat cancer, and there are more than 150 types of the human papillomavirus. So that's I guess it depends what kind you get, but they say that this couple, both of their cancers came from the same type. I guess they can figure that out. It can be past skin to skin contact, a handshake, a fist bump, brushing against someone on the subway. Really? Wow. Fast. Oh, they even they mention Michael Douglas right here. Like I said, the Michael Douglas effect. And then they go on to tease the the vaccine. And there's a mention of, and it has nothing to do with HPV, anal or throat cancer, but Victor Cruz down here. I did just want to praise Victor Cruz because I guess he's banging Chris Brown's ex-girlfriend, and Chris Brown tried to call him out on Twitter. Let me tell you something. I hate the fucking Giants. You will not find anyone who hates the New York Giants more than I do. But Victor Cruz is a class act, a fucking man's baby. If Victor Cruz comes home to, date your sister or something like that, you're thrilled. Seems like a great guy, gives back to his community, great athlete, hardworking, tough dude, rose out of a rough town to become an absolute beast. And I think he went to a smaller college too. I want to say he went to UMass, but I'm not positive. But just like an all-around fucking Superman. And fucking Chris Brown, one of the biggest scumbags on the fucking planet, has the balls to fucking to take a shot at him on Twitter. What a fucking douche. Fuck Chris Brown and his beautiful singing voice. I'm still gonna. The guy's got some fucking jams out there, I still listen to R. Kelly and Michael Jackson. I'm not gonna stop listening to fucking Chris Brown. But the point is, I won't be paying for any of his music, if that's any consolation to the listening public. Just what a fucking jerk off. That guy fucking sucks at everything except for singing. But yeah, fuck Chris Brown. Okay. We have been talking a lot about athletes today, Victor Cruz, Big Papi, etc. So I wanted to wrap up on this fucking hullabaloo about the women's national soccer team, and Hope Solo has joined it. Who I think is she the psycho that beat the shit out of her husband and got kicked off the team for unsportsmanlike conduct? Because she. Yeah, oh wow, look at that. She was kicked off for unsportsmanlike comments. And she is now calling the team's goal celebrations over the top. I guess what happened is, the Women's World Cup is going on right now. Full disclosure, I fucking hate soccer. Cannot stand soccer. It's just not my thing. I believe it stems back to my childhood. My mother didn't want me playing football, so they took me to a soccer practice, And as soon as they scooped me up off the field, they were like, "Oh, the coach said you were the best one, so you're gonna do this instead of football." And somehow, thankfully, my minuscule second grade brain was able to figure out that I was being hoodwinked, and I said, "No, I will play both, or I will play football." And they said, "You have to pick one," so I went with football, and thank God I did, because it is the best. But no, it looks like I guess they beat Thailand 13-0, which, wow, talk about a fucking beating. Um, and they were doing, I guess they were doing, choreographed goal celebrations and stuff like that. Having a fun time because they're playing in the World fucking Cup. The pinnacle of athletic achievement if you're a soccer player. She says, it was tough for me to watch some of the goal celebrations. They seemed a little overboard. She says they need to show more class. Yeah, fuck off. I didn't mind this line though. She said because I guess people were saying, well, why would you criticize them? They won. They do whatever the fuck they want. And she said, I think that's how we grow the game. We have to be criticized. That I do appreciate, right? No one should live above criticism. We're all worthy of it. Yours truly is probably the most worthy of criticism of, like, most people in society. Although I do a good job of dishing out plenty of criticism of my own. One has to. It's the deflect. But no, that's a kind of a big thing to say in 2019. Now I don't know. She could be full of shit. Maybe she gets furious when anyone criticizes her. I don't know. But that's cool. But no, I feel like. And having played for some very successful sports teams in the past, my high school football team was regularly accused of running up the score, as was our track team. You just go. You do it. You go and you compete until it's over. And if you didn't want to lose, you should have worked harder. Like that's just it. And there have been times that I have gotten my ass kicked savagely in athletic competition. And it doesn't feel good. It's terrible. I will say the close losses are way worse than the blowouts. The blowouts usually just like we got fucking outclassed. Those guys are better. Whatever. It's the close losses are the ones that fucking suck. But yeah, look, if you spend a lifetime and if you're on the fucking Women's World Cup team representing the United States in international play at the fucking World Cup, you have probably been dragging your ass out of bed early since you were in fucking kindergarten to go kick soccer balls and run around and condition and watch your health and what you're taking in, and everything for you has revolved around getting to this moment. You get to celebrate. You get to show off. You get to boast a little bit. If you are beating the other best in the world 13-0, and look, the Thai team relative to the World Cup crowd, they may fucking blow. I don't know. But if you're on the Thai women's team, you are among the best women's soccer players on the planet. So if our best women's soccer players come through and put a fucking hurtin' on your ass, then that's reason to celebrate. Enjoy it. Revel in the victory. Because the next time you go out, you can get your ass kicked yourself. I have this argument with my father whenever we watch a football game together. He hates how guys will they do they get a first down and they like to do the point even if they're losing, or if they make a tackle and they really they fucking get the guy. He doesn't like that. They get all pumped up and shit. But you gotta remember, you're playing a fast-paced, intense game. You get jacked up. You get excited. For some guys and women, I would presume, although I'm not one, so I it's 2019. I can't speak for the ladies. Some people doing that helps to keep your head in the game. It keeps you wired on what you're doing and focused, and you let it out, and then you're on to the next play, and it's kind of just part of your process. But for the work that these athletes put into this, and as much as it means to them, and you really only get, imagine all of the people who kicked a soccer ball competitively in the past year. How many of them get to play at the World Cup? it's a sliver. It's so fucking tiny. So if you're there, again, I think soccer is terrible and stupid and people should just play football instead. But, you know, they're doing it. They're doing it, and they're doing great. 13-0 over the Ties. Go out, get a massage. Very good. You get to celebrate. That's it. Yeah, fuck them. Fuck them. Tell them to fuck off. People tell you not to fucking celebrate after putting a fucking ass whooping on someone in sports. Then it's because that person did not play sports. That's literally the only fucking way to describe it. And with that said, we actually made it to almost 50 minutes, almost 50. So that's pretty good. I did not think I'd make it much past 25, 30 minutes today because, like I said, my prep for this show was absolutely abysmal. I will work on that. In all honesty, you'll probably see my shows start getting better after like the 4th of July. Because I'm, again, going from working 8 to 4 to getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning to get into the city to do morning drive radio is it's a huge shift on the old body clock. So I've had to kind of fiddle with some things. Had to scale the workouts back a little bit this week, and the show prep took a hit too. But have no fear, the Sack Tap is here. I will give you the social links one more time before I wrap things up. Facebook.com/Savage Crew. That's where you find people who've been watching this live stream. Thank you for tuning in. Twitter @Mike Montone. Probably my favorite social media platform, to be honest, because it's just a bunch of jackasses yelling at each other, and I get to sit on the sideline and shit post and make jokes. And Instagram @Gary_Moiler. Please do check me out there. And y'all have a lovely day and come back real soon now. You understand? All right, see ya.